As we're facing the consequences of a global pandemic, many of us realize for the first time that they're truly unable to escape the situation. Lots of people want to have a safe room for themselves, a sort of escape haven that they can relax in, that they can perhaps even forget about the pandemic at all, because in the end, even if we face it every day, it does stress us, it does exhaust us mentally and physically.
For like people who live in the city, it's kind of difficult to deal with the situation when they have to stay in the small apartment the entire time. They can't even go out to nature because everything is like full of people.
It's not a topic that we can run away from, whether we want it or not. We are forced to deal with it in one way or another. And while some people may feel safe or comfortable at home, for a lot of others, home is more of a prison than a sanctuary.
It's very difficult staying indoors during quarantine. You know, you can't go anywhere for a very long time, and some people living in the city, they could go outside, but sometimes the sounds of, you know, everyday life, just loud cars or people walking by talking loudly on their phone, it can be kind of unnerving, a bit uncomfortable, you know. Going into the forest, I think it's a very different experience. I just love the feeling of distancing myself from the city, being far away from all the stress, and just, you know, shut off for a bit.
We came up with the idea of creating a mental safe haven, a safe space that allows you to mentally declutter, to relax, and to escape everyday stress and anxiety.
Nature in itself is a highly interesting topic because you have to think about what nature is and what do different people think about nature. If you were to look for pieces or regions in the environment that have not been affected by human action, you would have to look for a very long time. Even if you go to the forests, every forest is planted. If you look at the sea, seas are full of pesticides and trash that humans produce. When we simulate a piece of nature as natural as possible, what does it mean? Is there a certain irony in it, or can it work? And within this context, we have to think about what we understand as nature and what do others understand as nature.
And for us as sociologists, it was also very interesting that, this project is based on the topic of relaxation, and, you need some sort of scientific basis you have to build it upon.
How they come from a simple idea, like providing relaxation, to the artifact that our group has come up with.
We have 3 stages. At first, the user starts in a very barren area, and the more he goes, the more nature grows.
We actively decided to cut out any big interactions. We didn't want the user to feel like he's playing a video game or that he has to do any tasks.
The forest starts off being a bit damaged, a bit almost like burnt, and the user walks through it and just sees how the forest flourishes.
In our group, what we observed was that intuition is actually a very important part of the process of producing this. And so it's not necessarily built on the scientific facts, but on the intuition of what we perceive as relaxation or things that help us with stress relief.
What I really like about nature is its atmosphere. Like when you see
the sun going down and the sky, and see the forest fog, reflecting the light of the sunshine. I think it's just, heartwarming to see that.
I notice that I breathe slower and deeper, and I like the effects on me.
So one thing to consider is that even though, it's based on creative work, intuition and everything, it still implies a lot of decision making. Like every single detail, every single plant has to be thought through in the whole team. And, everything is a decision. And it's a conscious decision, even though it's based somehow on intuition.
Sometimes when everybody has a certain area of responsibility in the bigger project, sometimes it's hard to make adjustments so that every single little piece of our bigger vision comes together at the end. During Corona, or like normally, is that you don't have to meet the other people in person. So you meet or talk to the others through a Zoom call or through Discord. There are sometimes a bit more misunderstandings, but have your working space directly around you, and you don't have to get ready first or drive to the others, find a working space. So that's definitely an advantage.
Working with one another surely changed the way we communicated. We actually weren't able to meet up in person at all.
And for us, it was also interesting to see how this intuition comes into place and how these thought collectives work together.
The results from these discussions helped us to get a solid base for a project, so it was an incredible chance to work with such a diverse team.
It was also very interesting to see that these art pieces actually, in the context of Corona, they help to kind of make sense of the situation, because they give you the space of reflection about what you actually have to grapple with. Our art piece is a very specific depiction of nature, even though we might see it as the one type of nature we feel comfortable with and we would like to flee towards too, but it's still a very specific decision to depict nature as in this way as we did.